What's up guys, my name's Dichronicos here on this Destiny 2 video, and today we're going to be counting down the top 5 kinetic weapons for PvE. Now I did a video recently where I talked about the top 5 DPS weapons, which were basically just the power weapons, and I did a whole bunch of things like DPS tests on a lost sector. I talked about total damage of the ammo, and this one it's a little bit different. It's not really as important to do DPS, however I did do DPS checks on I think 10 different weapons. Oftentimes the total amount of damage you can do in a clip or the total amount of damage you can do in all the ammo is not as important as a lot of other things. So in this list, I'm considering the DPS checks that I'll show you as I go along, as well as just the ease of use, the general stopping power of the weapon at multiple different ranges, and in general, just weapons that are just overall useful in any PvE encounter. Just as a future reference, when it came to things like kill clips and rampage, I just averaged the amount of damage you can do with rampage and the amount of damage you can do without rampage or kill clip, and I just averaged them together. And before I got started with this video, I just wanted to mention a relatively common question I've had in past videos where people were asking, what happened to the puppies? Well, I gotta say, the novelty of said puppies is kind of blemished if you just keep on spamming puppies all the time. So I thought, you know what, let's give it a little bit of break, so when the puppies come back, the puppies will be adored. If you didn't know that, that means I want you to like the video, by the way. Coming in at number 5 in this top 5 list of kinetic weapons for PvE is gonna be the Nameless Midnight Legendary Scout Rifle. Now, many people know about this weapon. If you do not have one, you can get one from Zavala from his random engram drop, or sometimes directly from him. You can buy it when it's rotating stock. This weapon is amazing. It's one of those 180 RPM archetypes, which is the second highest RPM in the game, with explosive rounds, means it can pretty much reach out at any engagement, and it's just incredibly easy to use. If you want a weapon that's pretty much universally used no matter what you're doing, where you are, to any range, the Nameless Midnight is your boy. Honestly, not much more to say about that, so I'm just going to say it's amazing, and you should definitely pick it up. Coming in at number 4 is going to be the Anti-OPD Legendary Submachine Gun. Now, this one actually came at a bit of surprise to me because it had the second best DPS in the entire list of guns that I tried out, and that's primarily because it has kill clip and it's a submachine gun. But I've lowered it down in the list for the very sole reason that it is a submachine gun, and it is relatively difficult to continually get those headshots and continually get those headshots at a longer distance, longer than close range, and in general it's just not usable in every scenario. But overall, it's still a very usable weapon. Kill clip still does incredible amounts of damage. Submachine guns have incredible amounts of DPS, and in general, if you have this weapon, which is randomly found from the gunsmith, which a lot of people don't have because it's so rare, it's an incredible weapon to use either way. I often hear that on PC, submachine guns are a lot easier to use, so if you're on PC, this submachine gun is pretty much one of the best you can have. Speaking of submachine guns, coming in at number 3 is going to be the Huckleberry Exotic Submachine Gun. Now, the reason why this one is higher on the list than the other one is for 2 reasons. Firstly, it has rampage, which is oftentimes a little bit more useful in PvE, and secondarily, it has a perk where when getting kills, automatically reloads a portion of the inventory back into the magazine. This makes it so you can get a kill, get rampage stack, get ammo back in the magazine, get another kill, get another rampage stack, get another more ammo back in the magazine. You can just keep going back and forth, getting ammo back in the magazine, getting more rampage stacks, or maintaining your rampage stacks, and actually do an incredible amounts of damage to all the adds in the area. Now, obviously, this makes it a very much an ad-killing weapon. Most kinetics are meant for the regular adds, and in general, this weapon is incredibly easy to use at that close range engagement. But obviously, since it's a submachine gun, it loses out at the mid to long range engagements, which makes it not as easy to use if you don't have a secondary with a longer range. Now, coming up at number 2 in this top 5 list is gonna be the Better Devils Legendary Hand Cannon. Now, personally, I find Better Devils to be my favorite. The Better Devils Legendary Hand Cannon is one of the best guns in the game, period. Personally, my king of PvE. If you've never used this weapon before, it's one of those 140 archetypes with 10 rounds in the magazine if you're using the non-extended mags, which you should. Don't use extended mags. It makes this reload just unbearable. And it also has explosive rounds, which puts it at the very comfortable 3rd place DPS. This weapon does incredible amounts of damage. Its explosive rounds stumble the enemies all the time, makes it very easy to use against things like Vex, which make them stumble backwards, so you can open them up and shoot them right in their critical spot. Very easy to use pretty much any enemy, because it stumbles pretty much everybody that's not an elite. And just in general, very easy to use with the updates, the hand cannons being more accurate in the air. This weapon is amazing. If you have not tried or you do not like hand hand cannons, I would recommend you try this out again. This weapon can be found from Shaxx or any Crucible engram or wherever Crucible is involved. Pick one up. This weapon is incredible, it's useful, it's comfortable, and honestly, it's easy to use. Now, coming up at number 1 in this top 5 weapons for kinetic weapons in the PvE is going to be none other than the Midnight Coup. Now, many people know this hand cannon to be one of the best guns in the entire game for whether it's PvP or PvE, but it's oftentimes a little more difficult to get because you have to get it from the Leviathan raid or from Benedict after completing the Leviathan raid. Sometimes he sells it in his random stock. There are 2 big reasons why this weapon is so amazing. Firstly, it has Outlaw and Rampage, so it reloads faster off a precision kill, which is easy to do with hand cannons. And secondly, it has Rampage, which means the more kills you get, the more damage you deal, and with 12 in a cylinder, at 150 RPM, this weapon is so easy to get kills. Even on the Leviathan, the Prestige Leviathan, I think it's 2 headshots to kill a regular Cabal, which is insane amounts of damage and is incredibly useful when fighting tons and tons of Cabal. And secondly, what makes this weapon so amazing is that all of its stats are just good. There's no bad stats about this weapon. Its range is good. Its stability is controllable at a 150. Its reload speed is good even without Outlaw. It has 12 shots in the cylinder. This weapon, honestly, it sounds kind of broken. It has the #1 DPS in the DPS check that I did. It's the most easy to use other than the better Devils. It's useful out to somewhat mid-range because it's one of those long-range hand cannons. I don't understand how they allowed such an amazing weapon in the game. If you have not used it or you don't use hand cannons again, please try it out. Check it out. Go get it. It is worth it. This weapon is incredible. If you don't think that that's true, check any of the top streamers, one of the best people in the game, like Team Redeem, the first people to do Spire of Stars, were all using the Midnight Coup. Datto is also using the Midnight Coup. I was watching all their streams and being like, yo, they're all using the Midnight Coup. This weapon is just clearly amazing. And that's pretty much it. That's the video for you guys today. Honorable mentions go out to Duty Bound and Origin Story, both with Rampage. Very excellent auto rifles in the PvE meta. If you like auto rifles, these things are both amazing. Origin Story, in my opinion, a little better than Duty Bound because oftentimes you get Rampage earlier in the clip than you do in Duty Bound, which oftentimes you get it at the end of the clip. But yeah, I tested out 10 guns here today for my DPS checks. If you want to see them, they're all on screen now. Now, obviously, there are a lot of other weapons that may or may not have better DPS than these weapons on this list. A lot of auto rifles might be better than submachine guns or scout rifles. I'm not sure how everything goes. I just picked the ones that I thought to be the best, the easiest to use, the most considerably the best with Rampage and all that stuff. If you have a recommendation, please let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to know what kind of weapons that you think would actually be in the top 5 or even at least the top 10. I'd love to try them out. Personally, I'd love to go get them. But anyways, that's it. That's the video for you guys today. Hope you guys did enjoy. My name's Midnight Chronic, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Puppy.